Rishi's plan to secure the union, another former cabinet minister has become the third Tory MP now to defect from Rishi Sunak to Liz Truss just yesterday, partly because they believe that Liz Truss is the one who can, quote, secure the union.
Well, I'm sitting talking to you from Aberdeen in Scotland as a Scottish Conservative, and it's my view that Rishi Sunak is best placed to ensure Scotland's place at the heart of our United Kingdom for years to come. That's why I'm backing him. One of many reasons that I'm backing him, and that's why I'm speaking to you this morning. He's the one with a plan to ensure the Scottish Government is held more properly to account by the UK Parliament, that the Scottish Civil Service is held more to account by the UK Parliament, and that indeed UK ministers are held to account by Scottish parliamentary committees. We need to ensure that the UK government is as representative and as stands up for Scottish people as it does for people across the rest of the United Kingdom. That's one way that we're going to ensure Scotland remains at the heart of the UK. But the other is by taking the SNP on at the ballot box and beating them. Liz Truss a few weeks ago said that the best way to beat the SNP was to ignore them. I fundamentally disagree. You don't beat somebody by ignoring them. You beat them by winning the argument, and that's what Rishi Sunak will do.
Why hasn't that convinced, then, the former Welsh secretary who said, I've got to shift allegiances here and go and support Liz Truss?
That's a question I'll have to ask Alan as to his motivation for jumping ship and moving at this late stage. I fundamentally believe that Rishi is the one who's best placed to ensure Scotland's place at the heart of the Union. I have backed Rishi since day one. I think his plan for the economy to get inflation under control. We've only heard this morning how inflation is running out of control and the impact that's having on individual people's wages across the country, detrimental impact. And that's why Rishi getting inflation under control, growing the economy so we can then responsibly be in a position to cut taxes is the sensible conservative action that we need from a leader, and indeed what he will do to ensure that the Scottish Government is held more to account. I think all of these are excellent policies, and frankly, I think he'd be best placed to lead our country in the years moving forward.
They are excellent policies. Based on the polling that we were talking to our pollster about earlier this morning, it hasn't persuaded people. The polls have Liz Truss significantly far out in front. Why is it that Rishi Sunak isn't cutting through in the same way? And what advice would you have? You're on his team, in his campaign supporting him, to say we've got just shy of 3 weeks left. We can shift the dial here.
Well, if I just read polls and went on what polls said, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'm a Scottish Conservative member of Parliament. I should not be elected and shouldn't be representing my constituency in Westminster. So I think the only poll that really matters is the poll that will be unveiled on the 5th of September. That's the poll of Conservative Party members when we all get to cast a ballot to choose our next leader. And what I'm seeing is when Rishi goes around the country and speaks to individual members and speaks to hustings and engages in events, is that people are convinced by his arguments, convinced by his pitch, and convinced that he's the person best placed to lead our country. I wouldn't put too much store by polls. As I said, if we went by polls, then I would be sitting here in front of you today.
OK, point made. We've got another hustings tonight in Perth, in Scotland, where there might be a little bit of fatigue in the leadership campaign. What new things are we going to hear from Rishi today?
No, it's all fatigue. We've got 3 weeks of this campaign to go. I'm sure that you're on the edge of your seat, riveted by every twist and turn of this leadership election. We're going to hear more from each candidate about what they're going to do to ensure Scotland's place at the heart of our United Kingdom. And you know what? I'm supporting Rishi. I really want him to win. But whoever wins this leadership election, the fact remains that Scotland is better economically, more secure, and the UK stands more tall in the world with Scotland's at its heart. And that's what Conservatives and Unionists believe, the length and breadth of this United Kingdom. And I think we'll be seeing and hearing much more of that in Perth this evening.